Well, let's start with the fact that we had a referendum and the results of the referendum ought to be abided by. But we do need to have an injection of democracy in between the result of the referendum and us going any further. And we've always said that. And what we wanted was a meaningful vote. And Theresa May is simply giving us a devil in the deep blue sea. She's saying, you know, you can either fall off a cliff or get on this bridge to nowhere, and you're going to have to vote on that. That's not a meaningful vote. That's not an injection of democracy. So we say, if you're going to give us that, then, you know, we refuse to play that sort of game. And frankly, if you can't come up with a decent suggestion, then we should have a general election. If we don't have a general election, which we think we should have, then yes, of course, all the options remain on the table, and we would, you know, campaign for there to be a people's vote. But you know, there are several stages before we get there.
As I suspect you can guess, the reason I'm asking you this is that Jeremy Corbyn, asked by a German newspaper directly, said, "We can't stop it. We can't stop Brexit." And there's a lot of people, including Labour Party members, who are desperate to stop Brexit and hope the Labour Party will help them do that, and are therefore very disappointed by what he said.
Well, you have to look at the context of it. You know, he was being asked by a German newspaper, why don't you just stop it? And he was explaining that, as I've just tried to explain, that we had a referendum, that we are Democrats over and above everything else.
But there is...
And that we have to take it. No, go.
They say, if you could stop Brexit, would you? Jeremy Corbyn, we can't stop it. And the reason I ask that is that a lot of your own supporters think the party leadership is a bit complacent, a bit lazy about this whole business, and has decided that under all circumstances Brexit is going ahead, and you shouldn't.
It's really not fair to say that we're lazy about this. I mean, the fact is we're not in power, and we have been trying to keep this government honest throughout. You know, we talked about the importance of being in a customs union. We have talked about the importance of having an agreement with the European Union, a free trade agreement that is a British-style free trade agreement which is based on the rules of the single market. We get all of that. That's the sort of things that we have to do. But, you know, there are some deeply anti-democratic forces out there, and we're not going to be part of it. If we've had a referendum and that is the result, then we ought to proceed on the basis of good faith, and we will do our best to try to deliver a Brexit that's good for the country. Now, we're not in power. So we have an incompetent government who for 2.5 years have not been able to deliver anything, and we're running out of time. And the point is this, is that as an opposition, we then say, you cannot go ahead like this. There must be an injection of democracy.